right there. That's that tunnel. I worked in that tunnel.
I knew that.
Yeah.
That's why this is going to be a really interesting experience for you because
Good night. I didn't know it was good. See that? It's been that long. All of this used to be open out here.
oh, of course. Isn't that interesting?
It is. Good night alive. How long that been? 60 years? Yeah.
Kind of helps you put in perspective how long it's been, hasn't
Yeah, I
it?
used to come out here and sit out here a lot of times. As the rock come in there.
Just wanted to get out of the tunnel and take a break.
Take a
and-
break in there.
Yeah. Was it really hot in there when? I
No,
guess it was
wasn't hot in
cooler.
there. It's cooler in there. It was leaking water in some places there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And all of the rock come on that belt and went all around and all up to that plant.
So the belt ran through this.
Yeah.
The belt ran through this.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
See, that's what I didn't understand. All I know is what I look at and I try to put it together. Well, please come help us understand how this works.
Good
That's
night.
what.
I spent many years in that thing. Yeah, they had a belt, had a great big pulley set out here, and that belt go around and go, and all of the rock, see that's where the rock, all of the dried rock would get on that belt, then it travel on up and go on up to the plant and go up there and go dump into the dryer, and it would dry it and it go in a big plant, a big shed out there where they stored it. And then when the cars come in, they would load that stuff on those cars and take it out.
Well, that helps me understand. I thought that the cars would travel through here,
No.
but that explains the belt
Yeah,
now.
yeah. All of that was covered with rock. And see, they got chutes in there where you open it up,
Mm-hmm.
and it will load on the belt and travel on up, going up, and then curve and go up to the plant, and going on up there and going on up to the cup and up there and would wash it and drop it down on another belt, and then they go up there to the dryer, and the dryer had a dryer up there, it would dry it, and then drop it on another belt, then they take it out in that shed, and then from there it loaded on cars.
So what was the purpose of this though? Was this you couldn't sort? This was what part of the process was that? You say it was already dry when it came in here?
No, see, when they come out of when they dug it out,
Yeah.
and those gun doors, they had a place out there where they dump it in there and wash it, and it would go down on a belt, then it would go up and go into a big thing where it would crush it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would go on over to another belt, then where it would go back, and then go out on the stockpile. They would dry it and dump and stock it out there, and then from there they would ship it out. They had to be washed.
And what part of the process was this tunnel? What function did this do? This was before the rock was dried.
No, yeah. This was after the rock went through the plant
Uh-huh.
and was crushed. And went out on the stockpile. And then for that stockpile, they had little carts in here. Then would open up a chute and load those cars. Then it would go up into another place and then dump into a dryer. That big dryer's in there.
And the process here was after it was dried?
No.
No, okay.
This was before.
Okay.
After it would come to the washer and come over here and it stockpile it there, and after it was dried, nothing dried, would be wet, then they would load it up, ship it up there, and then some tunnels would take it into the big old dryers up there. And those big dryers would dry it, and then they would dump it on some belts, and they had a big storage shed out there. And it was stored in that shed,
Uh-huh.
and then from there, when they get ready to load the cars out, they had a place there where they open up those tunnels and go out and go on a belt and load into those cars and ship it out.
I understand the tunnels better now. Some of them didn't have people. It was just places where they transported it through to the next process.
Well, this place here just had one tended it. I tended this thing.
Uh-huh.
I tended this and opened up a chute for that rock to come down on a belt.
Uh-huh.
Then that belt would take it on up. Then it would go on up and go in some chutes and go down, then go up into another chute. Then it would go down on a belt, then go in a dryer. And a great big boilers. And they would load that boiler and it'd dry. When they come out, it had to be dried. then it would go on another belt, then goes out into that big shed where they dried it.
Let's see if we can find where the boilers were. Were you the only one that worked in this tunnel, or was other fellas that worked in it?
Just one man at a time.
One man at a time,
One
man,
man,
this whole
that's all.
tunnel.
Yeah, you could
And your
control
function
it.
was just to open the chute and get it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of these have the chute still there, but it's too dark to go in there now.
Yeah, I
but
don't wanna go in
some of
there.
these, well, I know you don't want to do that, but some of them still have the chute so you can see how it operated. I'll
Oh,
get
yeah.
in there and get some light and take some pictures of that
All of
sometime. and
that
share
was
with
nothing but rock. All of that was big piles of rock, tall up there, maybe 50 feet or more.
Yeah, that concrete is this thick.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I could see, and this thing is, I don't know, got to be close to 100 feet wide.
Yeah.
So that was why it was
all of
built
that was
way.
covered with rock.
See, I never would have known that. It's hard for me
All
to
of that was
imagine
covered
that.
in rock. Then you open up that chute and you get on a belt, take it on up there, then there's another belt running this way. Then it would dump off on that belt, then it would take it up to the plant.
You know, now after I've walked, I'm starting to understand this. So let's walk up on top
Yeah.
and look at it from the other way.
Yeah.
And let's look at the next place where I think I know how the chute
So
came
that
out. now.
really, goodness alive, that tree wasn't there. That was no trees there. All of this was open space.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I look at that tree and I'm amazed at how it's
I'm
just
telling
grown around
you,
it.
I've grown around that since this thing. Wasn't none of that. All of that was rock.
That's
covered with
amazing.
rock.
That live oak has been working that area for a long time.
Not much. I can't believe that. 60 or 70 years make a lot of difference.
It sure does.
Yeah,
Let's walk up on top and help me understand what happened here.
I just parked my car down there. Good night. I just parked my car down there. Down Walker Street. Good night. I can't.
This concrete is. I've looked at this structure and I know how wide it is.
Yeah.
And I can imagine why they built that. I was curious why they built it the way they did. But yeah, I bet I can see a mountain of rock as tall as these trees funneled into these holes over here. When we walk across, you'll see the holes where the chutes are. Yeah, it's really hard to tell just from looking how big this place is, this slab. I mean, it goes all the way down. It's got to be 100 foot long and 200 foot wide.
Good night of mercy. What was that?
There it is. This is the chute that you worked underneath of.
Yeah.
Right here. You got to watch out because you'll step off in these.
I can't believe that all of these trees that growed up here. All of this was rock.
Uh-huh.
That is there.
Yeah, these are the chutes that you worked underneath of.
Yeah.
So they say they're all along here. They're in order.
Yeah, they all home go well up there. 'Cause all this was stockpile.
Now, they had carts doing this, or did they have a dozer pushing these in? How did the rock
Well,
get from
yeah, but it would have, get on to I attended this for many years.
Yeah.
And after that, they put me on a bulldozer
Uh-huh.
out there. And when it got scarce, I would push it up to this thing and dump on that belt. All this was belts, none on up here.
So that's how you got it down in there. The dozer would push it through these
No,
holes?
no, as long as they had plenty on them, you just open the chute, then it come through. It come through.
I get it. They didn't force it. It was just gravity feed.
Yeah.
The pile was
Yeah,
up
oh,
here, and
yeah,
you just
yeah.
open the chute, and
Just
it would
open the
come.
chute and come.
That makes
But
sense.
when it got on where it got kind of thin, then they would push it up and get it to go in the chute.
I made that a lot harder than I had to be. You just had a pile of rock, and that's why
Yeah,
it's.
that pile of rock was taller than these trees.
Now I
It
understand.
was way out yonder.
Yeah.
You didn't see where the concrete was, way out there. All this was covered with rock.
That's why you have a concrete slab this thick
Yeah.
with the small openings.
Yeah,
in it.
all of this, all you see out there was covered with rock, all the way up to the plant.
That all makes sense to me now. It didn't before, but now it does.
Yeah, goodness alive.
How fascinating. It's all, you can see from my point.
I wouldn't believe it done grow up like that. 70 years make a lot of difference, though, doesn't it?
Yes. I knew you would enjoy coming out here to see this. I've been looking forward to bring you out.
Yeah.
Now, as you got it on to this was just a way of loading the belt in an orderly fashion. Now I really understand. This is just a way in an orderly way to get it onto the belt. The belt came out here, And it has a tunnel up here that comes up.
Yeah, it goes up to a certain point up there and dump on another belt.
Yeah, you
That,
can now.
that ran this way. This belt would dump on that one, and
Uh-huh.
that one they carries up to the plant.
I understand now that the belts are included. I never really understood. I mean, I've walked it and looked at it, but it's starting to. It really makes sense to me now.
I didn't know it was going up like this. It's been many years. I mean, good night. All of this was open. All of this was rock. And the trees done covered everything. Good night alive. This is interesting. I didn't know this thing would grow up like
Now,
this.
here's the last of your rock right here.
Yeah.
There. That's the last of the rock. That's
Yeah.
going to stay here.
Yeah.
You missed a few.
Is that actual phosphate?
Yeah, this is your rock right here, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about right there. That's actually just a remnants of a couple that were left laying around.
Yeah, again, but
This is what confused me when I looked at it, but now it doesn't. Now I understand that you loaded it. It came on the belt. There must have been another belt that came up this way, and then you moved it on to
that
the.
belt took that one up. Yeah. Oh man, that's just something good. Man, I need to sit out here a lot of time and watch that stuff dump on that belt. Come from down here and dump on that belt, and
Okay.
going on up there.
Can I get a picture of you? This is so cool. I've been waiting to do this. I come out here and for the water, these pipes are everywhere. I mean, there was a lot of water that moved through here. What was that for? Do you know? I mean, they've salvaged and cut them all off. Was that for the rinsing?
Oh, that was for something else. I don't know what that was for.
Okay.
But
Cut-
one for no. The rock, when the rock come out, it went up here to be raised.
Okay.
Yeah. All of this was when it come from over there, after being washed over there, and then it go up here. The plant set up there.
The plant's set up here.
Yeah, the plant set up there.
Okay. Well, let's go check
I
that
in the
out.
world, I couldn't believe it doesn't grow up like that.
Yep.
70 years make a lot of difference. Good night.
Now, I was also confused by this tunnel. It doesn't travel very far. That tunnel travels over basically into a hole in the ground over there.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, what happened there? They had a trestle. They had a trestle over there, and when that rock come from the plant, but beans come from over there and being washed and everything, and it dumps on the belt over there, and that belt comes on up and dump over here on this pile.
okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So, did the train actually travel through this gully?
Yeah. The train traveled through this gully.
And it dumped out, and there was that's how it got onto the top of the pile over there. You must have had a massive belt that it came out of
They
the
had a
train.
big belt. Well, the plant was over there,
Yeah,
and when it would come from over yonder to the pit,
yeah.
then it would dump into over there on the belt. Then that processing place was over there, where they picked this rock. Then it dumped out there and dumped on the pile out there. Then it would get on the belt, come out that tunnel, and go all the way up there and go down here and dump on this pile.
Oh, it came through this tunnel, and there was the belt here to put it on top of the pile. Now I understand.
Yeah, it was a track built there,
Yeah.
a big track. There was a big track around there, and then that belt come out of that tunnel and come on up and dump the rock on this pile all the way down there. And then it would travel from there to the plant up there.
Now it's starting to make sense to me now. The tunnels were for the belts,
Yeah.
and we'll probably have to go around because it's kind of tough traveling here, through the Scully and stuff.
Yeah.
But on the other side is what looked like a trestle where the train went on top of the concrete pillars. I don't know. The concrete pillars I've had a hard time understanding also.
Well, they had a place over when the train come in and come over. They had where the train come over and they had a big chute there, a big thing that would.
Big chute.
Yeah, where
Big
they would
chute.
dump, where the train would dump it in the rock into them things, and then them things would take it up to the plant, and then go through the crusher, and then it go out on that rock where the ladies would pick the rock,
Okay.
And then
Let's
it
go
would-
look at that chute, because that'll,
Yeah.
now it's starting to come around. I think
Yeah.
we started at the end,
Yeah.
and we're working our way towards the beginning.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that, because it's all just
Yeah,
concrete
all of
structures
this
that I
where
knew
the
nothing
train
about.
would come through here. That's where the train would come through and going on out there.
Very good. Let's take the Jeep. I don't know, I might be able to pull it up here and pick you up. And let's take the Jeep around, and we'll go look where the train came in and that big
yeah,
chute.
Yeah, where the plant.
Because
where the
that's
plant
a pretty impressive structure. I've looked at it many times, but I
Yeah.
just couldn't.
Yeah, the processing plant stood over there.
Yeah.
When the rock come, dump on a very big pile, all of this was nothing but rock. Then where you see them things that day, they had a little cart, little trolley cart in there. It would dump in that thing, you'd open it up and let it out on the belt. Then the belt would go up and go on up there and dump. And then it would go in there and be processed. And then it would go on out there and dump. And we go through that boiler. That great big boiler in there.
I don't
That
know where the
dry.
boilers were. Maybe if we drive around that way, maybe you can give me an idea of where it was. I don't know if there's much left. But let's get the Jeep. Let's go around and let's look at the other end of it.
I
If
couldn't
you'd like to do that.
believe that done growed up like this. I couldn't believe all of this was flat. I used to pull drop my car down there a lot of times.
Uh-huh.
When I knock off, I go down there and get it and go on out.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. I went down there that thing here many days.
that's neat. Hey, can I get a picture of you standing? I didn't get a picture of you. I'd really like to do that because it's really neat. All right, I got you, Mr. Burns. Thank you.
Laid over,
It is laid over and started growing again.
going again.
And the root ball is a flat.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
flat surface because that's all it could do.
Man, this is something. All of this was base full of rock. Should I tell you how long a big ball that was? As far as this concrete went, that was rock.
Yeah.
And it was taller than trees.
This is the pile you were telling me about.
Yeah.
This is what you were telling me about earlier.
Yeah,
So you worked underneath that.
underneath.
You didn't tell me that part.
Well, I went around.
You were telling me about how
And the other
big
day now, I think about that thing. If it had fell in on me, I'm telling you the truth.
So you thought back on it later,
Yeah,
thinking
later.
about you were
It
working.
had cracks in there, some place where the water would come through. I said, now this thing's falling apart here. All of this was nothing but rock. I mean, them trees there, it was taller than those trees there.
Wow.
And as wide as this is, that's how wide that rock was. And as long as this is, that's how long this thing was.
Well, but when you told me about the size of the pile of rock, I got a grasp of it, but I did not realize it was here and you were working underneath. That makes a difference.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I worked underneath this thing many days.
Wow. Now, yeah, this is a very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how thick the concrete is. It must be 10 inches thick,
Yeah,
maybe a foot thick. I don't know. I've looked at it.
yeah.
And I always wondered about that, but it's just an industrial site. Everything is massive.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I wouldn't believe it. I didn't know it had grown up this bad, but 70 years make a lot of difference.
Yeah. There's the chute right
Yeah,
there
the
that
chute
you worked.
right
You
there.
worked right underneath of that.
Right underneath that. Right underneath that. And as wide as this concrete base is, that's how wide the rock was.
Yeah. It really makes sense now,
Yeah.
and that's why they had so many of those chutes
Oh,
in
yeah.
a line. You
Yeah,
just
in
went
a
down the
line.
line and opened the chute.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Load the belt, and then
this-
take it over to the other belt, and the other belt take it up there to the rock washer, and everything on up to the dryer.
So all of the rock was crushed down to this size right here. Then, by the time I got this,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
there must have
about-
been millions. It must have taken millions of rock. They were all. This is like the crusher size rock.
Yeah. That crushes them up pretty small.
That's why the chutes worked, because I always wondered too how that worked, because that chute's only 10 inches wide.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because all the rock were uniform.
Yeah.
A pile of rock
And them
that
trees
size.
was nowhere to be found, and I worked on them. Look at it. All of that was flat with rock.
Look right here. See, look at the pine tree. See where the buck has been rubbing his
Yeah.
velvet off?
Yeah.
Nature has taken this place back about as much as they can, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
You got that sapling right there. The buck just rubbed his velvet off on it. Yeah, you could sit here where your rock pile used to be and shoot you a buck if you waited long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd come rocking through here.
Yeah.
Yes, oh, that was a long thing, wasn't it? Ah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
I'm trying to picture too the crusher. I mean, this is hard rock too. This is the real hard rock prospect.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
must have been a heck of a machine
Oh,
itself.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. When you dump it in that thing, you get cracking it up. Yes, sir.
That must have been a heck of a machine to crush this rock. This is
Oh,
hard rock.
I couldn't believe that.
It's all nature now. You can't even tell.
No.
You can't even tell where the forest
Yeah,
starts
No.
and where the concrete is. It's all been overtaken now.
All out here, them things, all of that is what it is. And all of that, but none of this, all of this was flat.
Yeah.
Nothing
Here's your chute right here.
Right
So this
there.
is where you worked underneath. This was
Yeah.
30 feet tall, 40 feet
There's
tall
another
rock.
one over there.
Uh-huh.
Good nighty lie.
This is cool. When they were pouring it,
Yeah.
one of the workers,
Yeah.
they had this one poured, and this one was still green.
Yeah.
And you can see where he walked across there, the part that was still green.
Yeah.
How old do you think those footprints are?
The road was like
30s, Depression era. Yeah, that just kind of goes to show the workers, you know, this didn't just happen. People got out here and poured this concrete and ran this plant.
Yeah.
I love that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did not get that part
Yeah.
that you worked underneath of that stack.
Underneath all of that rock. I didn't think about that after I got out.
Let's go this way. I don't want to fall. There is some big holes out here, and big enough for us to drop way out of sight.
And it went on up to the plant, up to the washer up there.
Now these were the big rock before it was crushed,
Yeah, yeah.
because
The train would come in here and dump on the belt. And that belt carried it right on up to where it would go into another dump. And they would dump it in, wash it up, then go on the belt. And then they had people up there, had rock pickers up there. They would kick all the mud balls out and all that kind of stuff.
well, this was the fresh rock. How big were these? I see the one big as a basketball.
Yeah,
How big were these rock? Were these
Well,
big boulders even?
wasn't big monsters.
Yeah.
No, they wasn't big monsters because they had come through a crusher before.
Oh, they had a crusher even before they got here.
Before they got here.
That makes sense now.
And they would dump in it. All of that with water coming there on that belt, wash all of that off. Then it would go on the belt, go on up there, and then it would go up there and dump on another belt and go out there where the pickers were. They would dump on the belt and they would pick out all
So the rock came in here up to boulders about, say, this size?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was rinsed
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and
It
they had a crusher up there.
was crushed again
Crushed
into
again.
smaller size.
A smaller size.
And then the
they go on a
ladies
belt,
Then the ladies picked.
go on a belt, dump
Yeah.
on a belt, then they go up there with the rock pickers. They pick off all the rock, all the mud balls and all that kind of stuff.
And then you had the clean but still wet rock
Yeah.
that
yeah.
went onto the pile that you worked underneath of where we
Right.
were before.
Yeah.
That was run through the chutes and then sent to the dryer.
Yeah.
We got it figured out, man.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
I got this whole thing figured. That is so cool.
Yeah.
This must have been massive structurally to have a loaded train cars passing over it all day, every day. Yeah, that steel is an I-beam
Yeah.
that's 36 inches.
Yeah, you didn't see that.
36 inches structurally that way.
Yeah, you didn't see that.
I mean, that is really bigger than the railroad trestle itself.
Then the train was going on up there. Yeah, not that one road up. There used to be a train going right on up there.
Well, help us understand one thing that I still don't understand what it was, are the concrete structure that looked like it's a train trestle itself that's right over here. Can you help us understand what that's about? Because I'm was always been confused by it.
Well, let's go over there.
We'll go over there. Andy, you want to go over there and get us?
Yep.
All right. structure, and then there's another tunnel here somewhere out in the woods. And I'm not sure what it was for either. I'm trying to remember where it's at. It's so random now. You just walk out through the woods and there's these massive concrete buildings and structures. And also, this one has rock-lined pits, several of them. Everything else is made out of concrete except for these, and I've always wondered what that was about. Now this is really something to see how it's overgrown.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to figure it.
Do you remember what this was for?
Figure all of this out.
Here. Just step over that and you're all clear.
I'm okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
I got it.
You all right?
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. I've always been curious what this was for. So the equipment rested on top. Hold on, hold that thought. Okay, so the equipment rested on top up here.
On top of here, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had pillars where the train, some of the cars travel over this thing, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what it looks like to me. It looks like it's built for the
Yeah. Real heavy
the rail
equipment
cars to travel overhead.
travel over there. Yeah.
This is really built because of the cone shape. I mean, this thing is made to carry super heavy weight.
Super heavy legs.
Super heavy.
That's what it was.
So yeah, I thought maybe the rail.
Yeah, that was set up when the train dumped the rock down there. They had some cars that carried travel on this thing to go up there and dump in that place up there to be washed again. That's what that was. But this was really heavy equipment set up here. Couldn't nothing light travel on this thing. It had to. Let's see where it dumped there.
Did they have chutes that dumped into? Was there rails? Were there? I don't totally understand this, but I assume that somehow the rail cars traveled over the top of this. Now that additional, hang on, this is stuff traveled here. There's another structure here that's another tunnel that I don't know where it leads to. Can you even see the tunnel under all of this? Walk around.
Okay, there was another foundation there.
This is just, everything here was on such a massive, massive scale. Look at this plate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it had to be the way that thing was built.
That's half-inch steel, everything was half-inch steel plate, everything. Some kind of washer. Now there was something massive, really large here. In fact, this is a rail. See right here, look. See all these twinned up I-beams? There's here, here, here. The rail passed over this. See the rail right? See this? That's I-beam. I mean, that's a 20-inch I-beam. And something supported on this, which must have been really, really heavy. And see, see all this metal that was cut off and salvaged, but there's, gosh, 4 or 5 of them here.
I'm trying to figure out this jewel over here.
I do not think that tunnel has an exit. It doesn't have an exit on the other side over here. I've never found it. There's There's six of them, I think, coming out of the ground. So this is, here's more of them. Here's two more of them here. I mean, you could set thousands of pounds on whatever was on this structure right here.
Yeah, that was a heavy thing set there.
Oh my gosh, look, this is as thick as a rail. This is even thicker steel here.
Yeah.
That's more than a half-inch thick. All right, hang on. Let me go over here and see where we are in relation to that tunnel,
All right.
and so that we kind of have an idea where we're at. We're not too far from where we were. This, I'll get pictures of all this stuff later. Here's a junction for the plumbing, and the pipes are this big. This is where they join up right here together. I mean, that's a 300-pound piece of steel just joining the pieces together. All right, I know what that is now. There's an 8-foot wide slough cut through the side of that embankment. And it's got those 10-inch thick walls on each side, and it's got like a slough that goes through. I bet that was a belt there that traveled your rock up that way.
They had some big heavy boilers set out here, and I think they had those big boilers set up there, I think.
I think this is your boiler.
Yeah, them big boilers.
I think this is part of your boiler right here. That explains why there's really heavy,
Yeah.
some kind of heating equipment.
Yeah.
Or the boiler itself set there. Right here, if you can get to this, I think this is part of your boiler itself. Because it's not quite half-inch, but this is not pipe. This looks like it could be part of your boiler right here, like it's the tank.
Yeah.
I think this is part of the tank, and they came and cut off what they could for salvage, and what was embedded, they just left. And that's why it's rough. You can see where they just randomly cut off along the grade best they could. This is probably where they had pipes that entered. They cut around those.
I think those big boilers, they'd handle a lot of that wet rock when it first come off out of the gondola. So that chute was over there.
It all makes sense now. That is where we are. 100 feet over there is where the rail came over.
Right.
The big chute
Right.
for the basketball-sized pieces.
Yeah.
It angled this direction.
Yeah.
And
And they jumped it down and washed it.
The boiler unit itself was here,
Yeah.
and then it traveled over this way,
Yeah.
through that cut where that concrete is on a belt, and dumped on the rock pile.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense, it all adds up. Now, between what you have and between just what we have here to look at.
Yeah.
So this is the boiler, and that makes sense. You know, I was asking you about all the pipes coming out of the ground. That's why they had all the water for that boiler unit.
Washing the rock and cleaning it.
Washing the rock and boiling it.
Yeah.
And, okay, I did not know this is here, but this is, that explains this tunnel that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
See where it sinks in there?
Yeah.
It was washed.
Because there was a bill that it jumped on that tunnel. It come on up through this washer.
Okay, this is what it did, I think.
Yeah.
Look here. The boiler unit was here. It came up through that tunnel, and it went up onto that concrete structure.
Yeah.
That's why that is there.
It's so heavy.
Yeah.
I used to have it down here.
Well, it's been a long time. Watch out. Watch out. You hang on. Hang on. Let's. Yeah. Okay. Now, can you see? I don't know if you can see it over here. Look right over there. See? Can you barely see the concrete among all the ferns?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that there was a belt that led up through that, and that's what took your baseball-sized pieces of rock and put it onto that concrete slab where you worked underneath. Now there's no other structures here except for that one, because I think this is where the rail passed through. And on the other side of this is where we were, where that concrete slab is, and those other tunnels. So by the time it was traveling up that way, it had been crushed to baseball size or smaller,
Yeah, yeah.
and it had been picked through, but was not yet dried.
Yeah.
That's the process. As I visualize it.
I'm trying to picture where that dryer stood.
It could have been anywhere out here, and I may not have even found it yet. We figured out the process except for the drying.
Yeah,
We figured out the process except for the drying.
It's been so long till I done lost recollection of some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it glowed up so it was, hadn't glowed up so then I could picture and tell you point blank what was there.
Well, there's hardly anything left for us to use,
No.
and it's so different now.
Yeah, it is. That glowed up so that it done took all the main vision out of what it was. Right? That glowed up so these trees, so none of this was there, all this was open. So I could really picture it. It glowed up so that I lost vision of the way the eyes were laid out now. With all these trees. They done took over.
I don't know if I found where the dryer is. I got to roam out in a bigger area from here and find if I can find the foundation of where the dryer was. I will find that in time. But now that I have an idea,
Yeah.
you know, what's here, and I know to look for it also. I think here's a clear path here, and I might be able to get the Jeep around. Well, we didn't know what that represented, but we don't know where the dryer was, and we're thinking it could be anywhere. But that would be right here where everything was, the boiler was here. Yeah, that makes sense. It's close to the boiler unit that we've now figured out.
Right.
And so the whole process, most of the process took here within a 200-foot area,
Right.
and the dryer set on top of this massive pillars. Look at the size of that pipe. That pipe is as tall as a man's. To walk through that pipe would be eye level when it was intact.
Right.
Okay, now look here. This was like the boiler unit that we were looking at. That really thick, giant boiler that we were looking at is on the other side of this tunnel. Now, I did not realize, but that tunnel has a chute on top. It's overgrown, but when we were standing there, and it's a chute as big as this other one, 36 inches across, and it probably traveled right up here. See where that wall is?
Yeah.
There's another one here that's now destroyed, but I see the concrete here. And it traveled straight up on top where the dryer was.
That making sense to me there now, where that rock come out, after it dried, come out, had a tunnel there. It come out
And see, right up on top of that little hill is all of that really thick steel that comes up that's cut off. That had something really massive on top.
Set on top of it.
So, and then next to that is that giant boiler steel plate.
Yeah.
And then whatever took place there, here's this bunker with a chute on top that travels up on top of that.
Yep.
That really makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is really cool to like sit here and sort all that out. That is really neat.
Yeah.
I think we got it figured out.
Yeah.
I think we've got it figured out.
Yeah, I think we got it kind of figured out.
Now, no one worked in that tunnel. Actually, your rail car probably traveled right over the top of it and dropped it in that chute.
In that chute. Yeah. 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 But dropped it in that chute, and that chute took it on up to the plant up there.
Now, right over there.
What's beyond that? Can you go anywhere beyond that chute?
No, on the other side of that chute, 50 feet, is where all that steel comes out of the ground, where there was something huge. On the other side of that, I will go over there and look. There's no use in all of us. I don't think there's anything over there. But I'll go walk out in the woods and see, just to make sure. If you want to sit down for a minute while I do that? It'll take me like 3 minutes.
Go ahead.
I'll give them a run over there and see what's over there. Rinse the rock, and this is like the slough where that came out. That pipe's 36 inches That's about as big a
trying
piece
to
of steel as
figure
I've
out
ever seen.
How far away from from that tunnel over there? Then
There's
I could
another tunnel over here, and
I could figure out kind of more about it.
there is another tunnel over there, and I knew there was one out here somewhere, but I couldn't picture where it was at. It's right around the corner if you want to walk and see it.
Yeah, we'll walk.
There's another. It's a huge pit. It's 50-foot deep pit with a tunnel that exits out in that direction where your rock pile was. So let's walk around here,
Okay.
and I don't know, maybe it's 150 feet maybe over here to this other tunnel.
Yeah, that gives me a more fair picture about what we were looking at, talking about.
All right, here you go. Here's another of the tunnels.
Another tunnel.
And it travels through. I might have to walk through and see where it comes out. I'm pretty sure that it comes out.
I'm trying to figure out how far we are away from.
The rock pile.
Yeah. That's what
Let me go through, see through the. Okay, I see the daylight on the other end of this tunnel. This tunnel is not very far.
Might be snakes in there too.
No, I'm not worried about it. Let me go see where that tunnel comes out, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over this way.
Okay.
We shouldn't be too far from.
We're not very far at all from the rock pile where we started.
Yeah, we shouldn't be too far from here, and I can figure a little more.
We'll go stand on top of that tunnel, and you'll see. I think it will all come back. We'll come full circle.
Yeah.
Giant pipes sticking out of the ground. There are concrete tunnels through there, and it's all like, oh, here's another. That's what, yeah, that's all that we need to do.
Let's go. If I could find the entrance to where we were first.
Now this is all pebble here. We're on top of the tunnel. Here's that hole. Here's the tunnel.
Yeah.
Let me run on the other side of the ravine and see what's there. Okay? Can you hang for a minute?
Yeah.
And let me run over. Here's that pit. This tunnel runs underneath. It comes out right here. Directly across is the tunnel that runs in at an angle. Your rock pile is directly in line from this tunnel right here. You remember where the tunnel goes in at a 45-degree angle?
Yeah.
And then it meets the other long tunnel where you work underneath?
Yeah.
That is the one with the angle right there at the entrance if you look straight through, right past this vine. I don't know if you can see it. If you want me to go over there and stand so you can see where it's at. So,
The one we looked at over there, right?
yeah,
That's it right on the hill over there.
that's it on the hill right there. Now you know exactly
yeah,
where you're at.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
And the train came through here.
The train came through here.
Train came through here. Yeah. That's where I was over there. That's where we was out there a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And all that tunnel is where the train came in.
Mm-hmm.
And down here, this was some kind of heavy equipment down here. I think it was I don't know exactly what it was, but it wasn't connected over here. It was something down here because it set off from the plant. I think it was a structure for that mine, if I'm mistaken.
Oh, for the old mine.
For the mine.
Okay, that
mine.
makes sense. That was for Section 12 mine,
Yeah.
but you didn't really use that because you were only using the processing plant.
Yeah.
So that makes sense too. That was from the old Section 12 mine,
Yeah.
and that is where approximately where we went by, and I said, look where this giant
Yeah, that was some
water
heavy,
container
that
or
heavy-
fuel
yeah,
container.
That heavy equipment sat over there. And it did all the processing of the rock, and then it come over here. And when it come over here, we went up there on the belt, and they would process it, clean it up, then send it out on the stockpile. 'Cause that's where I was over there on that tunnel right there.
Mhm.
But the train would come in here, in this one here. And we had a chute run out there. It went down there, and it was loaded on the cars, and that's where they would take it out. They would bring the cars over because they dumped back them way up yonder, with a long line of cars. And as we loaded one, they would push it down and get another one there and load up. So
And that was for export.
yeah,
It was
that's-
done. It was
that-
processed.
that-
It was
ready to ship it out.
shipping it out.
Yeah,
So this was where, right here at the bottom of this was where the final shipping point
the
was.
final shipping point was. Yeah.
That is
And
neat.
all of the processing was did back in this area over here. That's where the processing it was.
Yeah.
Because the main plant is still over there. That where the rock went in and washed and went out on that stockpile over yonder, dump out there on a belt, through that, and was piled up out there. So that's where all of that heavy equipment was down there.
It exited your rock pile
Yeah.
at that tunnel at an angle and traveled over here, and that's where the processing plant itself was.
Right, right.
That's where that thing was that I was asking about. We drove by in the Jeep.
Yeah.
So that was probably a fuel container for the equipment out
Yeah, a
there.
lot of that heavy equipment was down there.
Yeah, that was probably a huge fuel tank for that.
Yeah.
That must have been a 1,000-gallon fuel tank for
Yeah,
diesel.
because the picking belt and all of that was over here.
Mhm.
When they cleaned it up, then it would go out and go over the chute, then go up over the top of that one yonder and dump it on the pile up there. Then at the dump there, then it was another belt that comes out of there and dump on another one, take it up to the plant. And where they take it up there and rewash it and ship it into that boiler and dry it. So,
We got it figured out, man.
yeah, we got it.
We got it figured out. That's
pretty-
neat.
Pretty cool, yeah.
There's nothing left of the plant at all.
No.
That I don't think there's any. It was just a building, and there's nothing
No,
left.
they took all of that out. The
Well-
metal building, they took all of it out.
It was easy to remove. It
Yeah,
wasn't
no.
like the steel plate
No,
here that's
no.
buried in the ground. That's
No,
just too
no.
hard to get out.
No,
But we know where it was at. It's just it was easy to salvage and
and
remove.
take it away, yeah.
That's cool stuff. Thank you so much.
All right,
Man, that was really great to help us understand all of that. If we can get back over here, I'm going to go see if I can get the Jeep over here.
no,
You want to walk back to the Jeep?
yeah.
Okay.
70 years make a lot of difference, huh?
Long time.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Stand right here, you would never know. I can see one piece of rebar sticking out of the ground over there. I mean, it's just like woods, any other woods.
Yeah,
Any other woods out here. That's what makes it so fascinating. You just walk up and there's this giant tunnel or
yeah.
giant 36-inch pipe
What is
sticking out
that?
of the ground.
John, what in the world is that?
Yeah.